My name is William O'Flaherty. I'm currently 61 years old. I received the results of my professional evaluation for autism a few days after my 60th birthday in February 2024. The process was initially difficult. Back around 2006, I became curious about what was then called Asperger's. I was unsuccessful in finding someone to evaluate me. Then fast forward to the end of 2023, when after going through a lot of work-related stress that year, I began to wonder again more seriously if I might be autistic. Then the process was actually easier. The process was easier at this point because I had come across a place that evaluated not just children, but adults for autism. It was then a three-step process, or should I say a series of 3 appointments. The first was to determine if it was even necessary to do a formal evaluation using a tool called ADOS. I qualified for the next step. That also included a few other tools as part of the ruling in and ruling out process. Then the final appointment was the results. Previously, the process was hard because nearly 20 years ago, I don't believe there was anyone in my area who evaluated adults. I tried one place and the scheduling person thought they did, but it turned out not to be true. So I gave up looking for another person, and I believe that place told me they didn't know of any. Additionally, because I was diagnosed with ADHD, inattentive type, back in the 1990s, I didn't think there might be other conditions to explain my experiences for a long time. Others might suspect I'm autistic because I go really deep into topics that interest me, and I have the tendency to interrupt others because of my poor social skills. While being shy is not exclusive to autistics, and some autistics are not shy, that is something very true of me. Others probably notice I don't like small talk, and I don't like being around too many people. I also don't like it when things are unpredictable, so I definitely like routines. Finally, I tend to ask a lot of questions when something is unclear to me, and a lot of times it is. So I probably annoy others with my frequent search for clarity. After being diagnosed, I discovered that I dealt with sensory issues more than I was aware of. About 8 months ago, I decided to try wearing noise-canceling headphones like these without playing any music, and learned that I found it had a very calming effect and helped me focus better. Then, at the end of December 2024, about 3 months ago, I got a weighted blanket and found it very comforting. So much that I decided to get an additional one. The first one was 20 pounds, and then I got a 15-pound one. I use both each night now. Some doubt I'm autistic because they hold, like I used to, an incorrect understanding of what autism is. I didn't fit the stereotypical mold for Asperger's, which is now called Autism Level 1, and that's what my diagnosis is now. Most only consider what is typically associated with Level 2 or Level 3 autism as characteristics that are really autistic, and those of us with fewer support needs can actually be autistic if we don't act or seem like them. Related to this, the fact that I have a master's degree and work a full-time job goes against the stereotype many have of autism. Also, I'm over 6 feet tall, and everyone knows you can't be tall and autistic. I'm joking, of course, because I do have a sense of humor and I can be sarcastic, things that many often think disqualify a person from being autistic. Finally, over the years, I learned how to mimic or act like someone comfortable in social situations, which I am not. My positive characteristics that are not unique to autistics are my ability to notice patterns or details that others may miss. So I'm good at analyzing. One of those areas involves uncovering quotes attributed to C.S. Lewis that are not by him. I'm considered by others who are actually Lewis scholars to be the world's authority on C.S. Lewis misquotes. I even wrote a book on the topic, so that proves my obsession. I believe my autism has helped me in the area of learning, in that I can pick up, in most cases, something fairly quickly. Finally, my autism is a strength in that because of it, I tend to be a rule follower and dependable, so others can trust and count on me. One of the biggest challenges for me as a late diagnosed autistic at the moment is still dealing with the reality of my diagnosis. Because of being good at analyzing, it is easy for me to overanalyze and give into negative thinking. For example, what would my life have been like if I knew I was autistic 30, 20, or even 10 years ago? Social situations are still challenging for me, especially if they are new and unique. I've also learned that while others might view it as slow at processing things, it's actually that I'm dealing with sensory overload most of the time, and I'm trying to filter out things that others more easily are able to filter. My Christian faith has been a central part of my life since I was 16 years old. I'd gone to church before that, but it was at the age of 16 I became more aware of what it meant to be a Christian. And it wasn't just to try to be a good moral person, but instead believing in your heart that God raised Jesus from the dead and confessing him as Lord. Given my autistic tendency to follow rules, I found it comfortable to have a clear direction in right and wrong. While I've been around others who were legalistic about their beliefs, I've managed to avoid that and live what I believe is a healthier Christian life. While I've dealt with doubt when life was difficult, I've always managed to remain steadfast in my faith in the Lord Jesus. Likewise, since my diagnosis, while I've questioned God about why wasn't my autism revealed sooner, I hold on to the belief that He is all powerful and all knowing, and I am not. I'm William O'Flaherty. Thanks for visiting my channel. Please consider liking and/or sharing this video. Also, feel free to comment and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and watch other videos.